Rise and shine, family. Rise and shine, everyone. Throw a comment as y'all come in here. We're about to have a good build. We're going to talk about polygamy versus blended families. Which of the two is the broken home? Peace to you, brother Enoch Davis. It's time for us to get serious as a family. Start taking what we do seriously. Start taking the life that we are creating seriously, family. And I'm going to definitely be here to kind of turn the lights on for us. Okay. So you guys know I've been talking a lot about polygamy because I'm working on a curriculum. Actually, the curriculum is finished. I will be launching it at the end of this month. I just have to set my YouTube up for the memberships and all, so I can teach this curriculum. But I really want you guys to truly set aside your biases and listen to the information, because the information I'm sharing with you is not so you can be polygamous. Okay. I need you to understand that something is going on with our world. And they've been telling you for so long that if the black man was to stand up, if the black woman was to realize who she is, it's over. Now, we've often heard this, right? And we've often wondered, what are they talking about? Who are we? If we understood who we were, this game they're playing right now is over. It's over. The dynamic, the hierarchy that they have right now, where we are the minority, the actual majority, the ones who outnumber every other race on this planet by far, the world where we are now called the minority. If we were to just realize who we were, it's over. It's not with a war. There will be no war. It's just us waking up to who we are. Okay? So I want you guys to understand this information is to help to set us free. It's to help to give us a broader perspective on who we were. It's another piece of the puzzle, family. Okay? So a lot of us, we have been raised by the colonizer. Our ancestors, family, they were stripped. They were defeated. They were enslaved. And we are their children. Do you guys understand that? So the way we see the world is through how their conquerors seen the world, not through how our ancestors seen the world. And what has happened is we've developed biases to how our conquerors see the world. We don't know the first about how our ancestors see the world. We see the world through the eyes of our conquerors. And so when we look at how our ancestors practiced, we see it as savage because our conquerors seen it as savage. They had no understanding of what we were doing and why we were doing it. So today we have these different terms that we accept and we call them harmonic, like blended families. While things like polygamy, which is practiced all over the world still, the colonized man believes that something is wrong with it. Now they can't tell you why they think something's wrong with it. They'll say something like sharing. That's the best they got. That's the best they've got. They're only using their emotions and how something feels to them. Okay. But we're going to deal with this situation. And I want you guys to truly listen in spirit and in truth. I'm not here to make you guys feel uncomfortable, but I am here to wake you up. It's time that we wake up. Okay. Polygamy versus blended families. Which one is the broken home? Okay. Now, I have here in front of me, it's called a blended family. Okay. It says step family. Okay. Now we're going to understand exactly what they don't want us to be powerful. You're absolutely right, brother Enoch. And welcome in Rosalind. Welcome in Ladoris. Here it says a step family is a blended family, also known as a step family. It's formed when two people come together and bring a child or children from a previous relationship. Okay. The parent may be in the same sex or heterosexual relationship and may or may not have children with each other. Blended families consist of both biological and step children. They defy traditional family structures and are becoming more common. Apologizing for my reading errors. I'm reading it from my live screen, and it's a lot smaller there. Any reading I do from here on out, I'll read from the actual tab. Okay, guys. But as you can see here, how a blended family is described. Now, let's do something here. We're going to say, what is a polygamous family? Polygamous. Polygamy is most common known as in the polygamy belt in West Africa and Central Africa, with these countries estimated to have the highest polygamy prevalence in the world. Being it's not actually answering what is it. Let's see, what is it? Make sure that this is still the screen you guys have. Okay, good. You guys have that screen. It says a polygamous family is a large patriarchal family unit based on one man and a smaller matriarchal subfamilies. Polygamy is defined as a marriage in which one spouse, man or husband, has several other spouses. The most common form of polygamy is when a man has more than one wife. Polygamy is practiced by both young and old men, and also among men with higher education. The term polygamy comes from the Greek word, you see it here, meaning numerous, marriage, numerous in marriage, okay, which in translation means many marriages. Okay, now we're going to say this. What is a broken home? A broken home is a family in which where one parent is absent, usually due to divorce or separation. A broken home can be caused by various factors, such as addiction, death, poverty, violence, marital problems, or family relationship, or poor family relationship. Children from broken homes may face mental health challenges as they have to cope with disruption of their family foundation and the instability of their parental figures. Now we understand what a broken home is. Welcome in, Queen Chatty Cathy. I'm glad you're here for this. I'm talking about today polygamy versus blended families. Which of the two is a broken home? People have their thoughts about polygamy, but here in this world, we all have seen a blended family, and we don't talk about any issues surrounding that. And I want to show you, we never talk about them while they are there. And which is the broken home? I think we guys just already learned. It says, again, I'm going to read this. A broken home is a family in which where one parent is absent, usually due to divorce or separation. A broken home can be caused by various factors, such as addiction, death, poverty, violence, marital problems, or poor family relationship. Children from broken homes may face mental health challenges as they have to cope with disruption of their family foundations and instability of their parental figures. We're going to bring all this to life, okay? The Bible says, and I quote this because a lot of you guys listen to the Bible, you read it, but it's excellent quotes too, okay? It says, a wise man leaves an inheritance for his children's children, for his children's children. Now, this is important because it says a wise man does this. It didn't say it's nothing wrong with leaving an inheritance to someone who was not your children. It didn't say that, but it says a wise man does this, okay? This is Proverbs 13:22. Today, we're going to break down the true purpose of a family or a tribe, the true purpose of one, okay? Because we don't know it, we became like zooed animals. We don't know what the purpose of a family or tribe is. Now, animals all across the world don't need a book, but they know what the purpose of family is. But we have been stripped of our birthrights, okay? Our development have been arrested through slavery. You ever heard the term arrested development? Through slavery and what they did to our ancestors, we have no understanding of culture, tradition, family, tribe, inheritance, any of that. So we are just walking around lost, just flying by the seat of our pants, and we don't know who we are. And when we find out who we are, family, what they say, it's over, right? If you ask many of us today, what's the purpose of family? Many will say love. But it was for comfort. It was for survival. It was for thrival family. We must look at life from the way it was meant to be lived, not through the lens of the modern matrix, not through the lens of the colonizer, not through the lens of the conqueror, who has broke down the family structures. Do you understand? The real question isn't whether blended families or polygamy provide more stability. The real question is how we completely lost the function of true family, okay? We're not just speaking for the ancestors. Listen, I always say to you guys, I speak for our ancestors, not just the ones who have passed on, but the ones who have yet to get here. And I'm referring to our children. Okay. We relive through gosh, it's the word slipped my mind, but we relive through procreation, guys. This is how we relive. Each generation getting better. We are ascendants of our fathers and mothers. However, they've switched that and told you that you were descendants. They want you to devolve. They want you to get worse every time, family. After every generation, becoming better slaves. But I'm here to tell you, your children are your ascendants. Okay. And that was the actual purpose of family, is that your children ascend you, be better than you. Okay. So I don't just speak for the children, for the ancestors who have passed. I speak for the children who haven't got here. And our responsibility is to secure their future, which means securing our homes. Do you understand? Peace to you, Creed. Welcome in. Hang in here, because we're going to have a great build. Okay. Let's look at nature. What's the role of offspring when we look at nature? Okay. Hang on. What's the role of offspring, family, when we look at nature? Okay, let's see here. Right here, you got, let's see if you can see this, guys, can see this screen. Yep, you got to see some leopards out here, right? They're out here hunting. You know, what the leopard will do is they'll take their young out and teach them to hunt. And they actually get hunters to go with them. So in our world, family, when we have a child, the first thing we're thinking is, how are we going to take care of it for the next 18 years, right? In nature, when they have a child, they're thinking, hell yeah, help is on the way. They're not thinking, oh my God, how am I going to take care of this child? Where am I going to find the means? They're thinking, hell yeah, help is on the way. I'm replicating myself. There will be more of me to go around. As soon as these cubs are up and moving around, they're already going out with the mother, learning to navigate the world, family, learning to pounce on butterflies, little lizards, animals that are small to it. The mother's teaching it how to hunt, because they're going to hunt together, making them stronger. It's not just this one anymore. She's found another and made these cubs. So now they are multiplied. Be fruitful and multiply. We are only being fruitful. We've lost our birthright. We're having children and we're not raising them to hunt with us. Because our development has been arrested, we don't know we need to do that. We don't know that's the purpose. We think the purpose of children is to just raise them. We don't understand that they are our predecessors. They help us get into the future. As we getting older, we're getting weaker, family. Those cubs get stronger as you get weaker, helping you hunt. You raise them up from when they can't walk, and they transition you after you can no longer walk. When you can't hunt anymore, who is it that hunts for you? It's your children. But not in this world, because our birthright has been stripped. So looking at nature, the role of offspring. In the wild, offspring contribute to the survival of their parents and the continuation of their lineage. That's what they do. Look at the lion, look at the wolf, look at the elephant. Nearly every species teaches their young how to hunt with them, how to protect and provide with them. This is what they teach their young. They're not at school. They're not playing video games. They're out here with their parents, learning how to live, learning how to survive and thrive. What do? The total opposite. We go to work. The only place our children have to go to for food is the refrigerator. We send them to school to learn arithmetic, reading, and writing. We don't teach them how to hunt. So when they grow up to be grown, after we've given them an allowance, after they're too big, we say, to live in our home, we're sending them out there just now, fending for themselves with no clue how to hunt. This starts your heritage all the way over. Because just as you didn't know how to hunt, when your parent put you out, now your children's going through the same thing. And we think we're raising our children. We're not. Our children don't simply take from the parents. They help sustain the parents. They help them survive until they can survive on their own. These young will understand contribution before they go start their own families, guys. Our young don't be understanding that. If you ask your child right now to help you with bills, they'll think you robbing them. Let's be real, y'all. The broken modern family system is we have raised our children like baby birds, children who only take from their parents, but contribute nothing. Instead of training our children to sustain family, we push them into a world where they must struggle alone. Now, you see this in Chinese culture. You walk inside their restaurants, you see their kids working inside the restaurants. You walk inside the Mexican stores, you can see their children and they're working. We leave our children home believing that we gotta make sure we keep their childhood. Do you know what childhood meant back then, guys? It wasn't sit around and play with a bunch of stuff and stay innocent and aloof to the world, because parents understood that they weren't promised tomorrow. And if something happened to them, their children can't fend for themselves. Life expectancy wasn't as long. We didn't have so many, it wasn't so safe, guys. Wild animals would take us out. Mother Nature itself, natural weather storms and things would take us out more than anything. So honestly, guys, time was of the essence, and there was a sense of urgency. And we had to raise our children up to be prepared early, just like these animals do, because they're in the wild. They know that there are other predators out there that want to hunt their children. They don't have the privilege of laying around and being young and being innocent all day, because they know another leopard will take them out because they're competition. So someone who looks just like them will take them out. We know this, right? We know if a boar or a grown moose or deer was to see these little cubs out, they would stomp them out because they know that they're going to grow up to be their predators. You don't have time to waste. So time is of the essence. And because we live in this brick and mortar world, we don't see how dangerous it truly is. We don't understand that our life is dependent on us getting to work. We think we got time to lay around and rest. So a lot of our children do not understand this stuff. So we're not teaching it to them. I grew up not learning it. I spent a lot of time meditating. Okay, guys? And when these things are dropped in my spirit, I act on them. And what y'all see is the manifestation of what I have dropped in my spirit, even though I haven't taught it to the public yet. But I can look at the world and see we're doing something wrong here. So if they've stripped our birthright, that means our children are growing up with no understanding because we don't have it. So instead of training our children to sustain family, we push them out to struggle alone. Once they leave the home, they become their own only resource. And they even still come back to us for help. Mooching out of the refrigerator, stealing dish detergent, asking for money. So you're a parent trying to take care of your home, and you're trying to take care of their home when they could still be in your home, taking care of your home, helping you own it so you don't have to worry about taking care of the home, and they can have something to come back to when they're older. And that's an inheritance. It stays in the family. And a wise man leaves an inheritance. What's the consequence, guys, of this disconnection? What's the consequences of this disconnection? Our children do not stay to support the family when they get older, and they don't have a home for you or a place for you when you get too old to take care of yourself. We're often going to group homes. We're often going to the streets because our children won't allow us to live with them because they have no understanding that they are supposed to transcend us or transition us. So we don't have family or support when we get old. So what we do is, because our birthright is stripped, we raise our children up. We have families to raise up. We're responsible for families. But when we get older, that family is not responsible for us because we failed to teach it. So in the end, guys, you don't get a family. Get this. You'll raise your child, love them with all your heart, give them the best that you know. Inadvertently, you won't teach them what they should know. And in the end, you don't get a family. You will be the one on the outside looking in to your family Your children got their own husbands and wives now. And while you're too old to take care of yourself, they don't have a place for you because they did not understand that that was also part of it. That's part of the circle of life, and we've completely skipped that part. Now you're a burden to them. When you look at a house, they don't even have a room for your parents. They just have it for the kids. They have a master bedroom, crazy they call it master, right? And every other room lacks the amenities that the master has, but they don't have the parent suite. Now, typically you have to add that on. You got some houses that have that, so I'm sure some of y'all have heard of that. But y'all know in other cultures, it is very common that your parents are going to come back and live with you when they are older, or you're going to move back to their home to take over their home and property. But our parents ain't had no property for us to take over, so we don't go back home. They didn't have nothing to give us. You know why? They didn't understand that some of y'all parents had 6 and 7 kids. If you guys were working to pay off that small house y'all lived in, or get out of that apartment y'all lived in by working together, all of y'all could have went to work and paid off a small house and had a home, and y'all would have had something in y'all family. But we didn't know no better. Our parents didn't know no better. So they sent y'all out to pay for somebody else's apartment. And now many of you are grown and still have never owned a house. The first thing you should have done is help pay off your parents' house. Now you see this, it's in our DNA. How many times you hear a young man say, I want to buy my mama a house? It's in our DNA to even provide for our parents, y'all. Black people are broken. We're not the worst. We're just broken. It's literally in our DNA to take care of our mothers and our fathers and our children, brothers and sisters. But we're broken somehow. We've lost that. And that's why we have a broken home, because we're doing shit the European way. Sorry if I'm passionate. It's just I know something's wrong, guys. They don't stay to inherit the business or the skills. This is part of the disconnection too. Even if you do own something, when your children grow up, they're going to want to do what they want to do because we failed to teach them that they are an extension of their tribe. So say you want to give them your farm. You want to give them your hair salon. They don't want to do it. Guess why? Because we failed them. It ain't because they failed us. We failed to raise them in that. Back in the day, family, your last name was what you did for a living. Your last name was blacksmith. You know what your children did? They raised up every day watching you bang that anvil, that hammer against that anvil. And then they start practicing it. Then they're old enough to put the metal in the iron in the forge. And before you know it, they are blacksmiths. And that's all they know. And that's how your family feeds itself. These cheetah right here that you see on the screen are feeding themselves. The cheetah ain't looking for a way to feed their family. The cheetah says, my family is the motor that feeds it. We got it wrong. We wake up every day to go trade our energy to somebody via a job to get paper money back and then go buy their food. When we should own our land, enough land to fish on it, enough land to hunt on it, and our children to farm on it if you want. You ain't got to hunt every day. You can farm your cows. You can farm whatever livestock that you eat. And you can garden whatever vegetation you eat. It don't have to be a hunt, guys. But you and your family could till and farm that land every day and have all the food that you need. But what do we believe in? Supermarkets. They're going to always have your food. So we'll never hunt because we don't see the need for it. Further weakening us, further stripping us from our birthrights. That's what they do to zooed animals. They make it very convenient for them. They make it so convenient, in fact, they don't have the desire to hunt. They get used to the food, the meat being thrown over the cage to them. That lion has no idea it's even eating a zebra. It has no idea what food is for it. Just as we have no idea what food is. If you put us in a wild forest right now, we know the typical shit: apples, oranges, grapes. But most of the animals is growing out, most of the vegetation is growing out of the forest, we wouldn't even know what it was. But if we lived out there in it, guys, the forest would be our refrigerator. We go by vegetation right now, talking about some what's the life expectancy on this. When really, if it stays into the ground, it stays alive. We should have this in our backyard. But we got a special place in our refrigerator to put our vegetables and fruit so it don't spoil, because it keeps the humidity just perfect, and we got to eat it just in time or it'll spoil. And then we throw the seeds out in the trash. We don't replant them in our backyards or nothing. Our kids see us do this. And so they think that food is at the fast food places, at the supermarkets. They don't know food right outside their doors. And neither does the zooed animal. Once these leopards leave the home, they become their own resource. Knowing exactly what to do. When our children leave the home, they become their own resources, knowing not what to do, with no foundation to build upon. That's the problem. And the consequence of this disconnection is our children do not stay to support our family when they get old. They do not inherit business or skills. They only inherit our debts and our struggles. And we got to rethink the family unit. It's survival. It's not just temporary responsibility. I'm raising you for 18 years and then you out of my hair. Yo, do we understand what we are saying here? You're the one giving up your birthright by telling your kid, when you 18, you out of here. And they want you saying that. They want you to understand this is another version of yourself. You've now duplicated. It's now more than one of you. And now with both of y'all with the same game plan, y'all can go out and conquer a whole lot more. So 2 people have 3. Eventually 4, 5, 6. You got a whole family. You're supposed to plan with your family on how you're going to survive together and have a plan, guys. Instead of getting rid of them by the time you're actually able to use them. I'm going to go back to this. A wise man leaves an inheritance for his kids. Proverbs 13 and 22. Which is the broken home, the blended family or the polygamous family? Okay. As we talk about stable homes, are we trying to patch stable homes? Or are we just trying, like with patch stable homes with Band-Aids? Or are we trying to build stable homes? Okay. The question is, which is best suited for our ancestors coming forward, polygamy or blended families? Which is the broken home? And we've learned a broken home is that which does not have both biological parents in it. That's what a broken home is. So a broken home is a blended family. A blended family is a broken home because it does not have both biological parents in it. And you might say, well, it got 2 people. We're talking about the kids, though. We're not talking about you. Yeah, you get somebody else you can lay with and love just the same as you loved your last person. But what does your child get? Because if we're thinking about our ancestors, the children who has yet to come, then we have every responsibility to make sure we hold a family together so they can get both their biological parents in the same home. Definition of a broken home: a home where both biological parents are not present and active in raising the child. A home where the child experiences instability, divided loyalties, and emotional turmoil. And I said earlier, inconsistency. When a child is in a broken home and both of their parents are not in it, the relationship with the parent that's not in their home is an inconsistent relationship. They don't see them daily, interact with them daily like they do the parent they live with, right? This is going to create problems. So anytime you opt to have a broken home, you already know you're setting your child up for many, many traumas that a child in a healthy home may not experience. So a blended family is modern patchwork of a broken home. Do you understand this? A blended family occurs when a man or woman with children from a prior relationship remarries or enters a new relationship, bringing different children together under one roof. While it may provide temporary stability, it does not restore the structure that was originally broken. This child may call this person mother or father or stepmother or stepfather, but it is not their mother or father. If something happens to your child and they need an organ replaced, you'd have to go get the original father or the original mother. Do you understand this? When that child is longing for understanding in this world and confidence in this world and courage, they'll long for their original mother or their original father, because that's holy and that's harmony. And that original mother or original father may not be there. That's a problem. So while it may provide temporary stability, it does not provide or restore the structure that was broken. Polygamy, the alternative structure, right? A polygamous family involves multiple spouses. And I put quotes when I say alternative because people don't understand that this was original, which is what indigenous means, right? It's what it was. But we think it's alternative, right? Like when white people take something from black people and they start calling it alternative because it's new to them. That type shit. But a polygamous family involves multiple spouses, but keeps all children within the same connection of household, with access to both or all biological parents. Historically, polygamy has been the means of ensuring that all children are raised by their fathers, securing the inheritance, the stability, and the continuity. Now, I'm going to show you guys another picture. You guys see this cheetah? Now, we're just looking at all these animals out here. Here, you see these animals here working together, hunting together with their children. Look at these wolves. Okay, these are look like these are all cubs. And so the alpha couple, which is the male and female, not an alpha male, the alpha couple has this whole tribe to hunt with them. That's what you guys are seeing when you guys are seeing a pack of wolves. Okay, that's what you have here. They're working together because they know together they hunt together, right? They survive better together. Okay. Now, here's what I was going to show you. Let's see here. Now, what you guys see here is tribes hunting, right? And you guys are going to notice that, like right here in this picture here, if you guys can see that, they're not all old. They're not all old. These are children back here, but they're already got an arrow in hand. They're already out with their parents hunting, ain't they? Because these tribes understand something that we don't. They don't have the brick and mortar around them, tricking them, making them think that you good. Just come to this supermarket. Depend on us for everything, which makes you weak. Freedom looks like working, guys. Freedom looks like working together. And so when the black man says we don't have our freedom, what we're saying is we're not working together. And guess what? Ain't nobody stopping us from doing that. So nobody has our freedom. Freedom is in working together. Freedom is in us joining our skills, our resources, our minds, and aiming it towards the same cause. If 13% of black people in America could fuel the whole economy, being the largest consumers, what could those black people do if they focus their energy in on itself? Who could we be in 1 year? Billions of dollars we spend. Billions of dollars we spend a year, guys, making someone else richer while we complain about being the poorest. Polygamy, guys, it's working together. Even in your blended families, in some form or way, this is you guys' way of trying to still work together, even though your relationships broke down. I'm not saying a blended family is terrible. It provides a father to a child that didn't have one or may not have had one. It gives a child a mother or father in the home that may have not had one. So while it is better than a single home, it's not as holy as a full monogamous one or a full polygamous one where all the children got their parents. So if you're going to be monogamous, but keep it holy. Try to keep your family together and so your family can benefit you. When you guys are separating, you guys are giving up your birthright. You have a right to your children. And you're destroying your whole home, which is your means of survival. If you lived in the wild, you think twice about breaking up with that person who you just had a child with. But you live in America, a place where they actually enable you to do that shit. You understand? They're enablers of broken homes. Yeah, break up. Come over here. Put them on child support. Yeah, come over here. Get this aid from me. Because they know that you will believe as long as you're getting some type of help from the government that you're okay. But what you're not getting is your future secured by your tribe like you're supposed to. You're not supposed to need the government. And we keep saying we don't want government, but if government went away, many of us wouldn't have places to live in or money to eat with. We have to reprogram our minds. Absolutely. You're right, Brother Enoch. Let me break something down to all of you brothers, okay? All of you sisters. I call this two brothers, two losses. In a blended family, the biological father is outside of the home, okay? Paying child support. Now, I want you guys to understand this. Let me do this real quick because I want you guys to understand this. You guys see what a tribe looks like. Let me see this. I'm going to show you guys. So I want you guys to have something to look at because it's very important that you guys walk away with remembering some of what you learned here today. All right. So we have blended families here, okay? See this? Let's see. Can y'all see this one family? Okay, y'all see that one family now. Again, a blended family is where one person had a child before this relationship. So it looks like both of them had a child before their relationship, okay? So I want to point something out here, okay? I call this two fathers, two losses, two mothers, two losses, okay? In a blended family, a biological father. Now, this is predominantly for fathers because fathers typically, the biological father typically doesn't get the child if they separate from the mother, if there's a breakup, okay? So, men, this is what I want you to understand. In a blended family, the biological father is often outside of the home, okay? Paying child support, but missing out on the family, missing out on the daily upbringing. So I need to find a picture that represents this because if this is a father, this is his child inside the home. We don't need him here because he would be with his mother, right? So let's find something that's more accurate to what the modern blended family looks like. That man is truly blessed if he has his child living with him. Here's another picture that kind of shows both of the children inside the home. So they kind of set this up to be kind of try to make it different than what it is because we know this must be the weekend. The weekend, his daughter gets to come over because we know typically she's outside the home, right? That's up here too. That ain't even natural, but okay. Let's just find something that's more common. Try to find one child in it or something. This is better. Okay, this is better. This man is with this woman, and these two are her children. His child is not here. So we're going to assume he has a child, right? Both of them have children, but this is what it typically looks like. Y'all agree? Let me make sure y'all can see this screen. Y'all can. Okay, good. Okay. So this is what a typical blended family looks like. The father is with the mother and her children are in the home. His children are still with the mother, okay? So I want you guys to see this picture. I want you to think for a second, okay? In a blended family, the biological father is often outside of the home. So he's outside of his actual home. He's paying child support, but he's missing out on the daily upbringing of his child. But meanwhile, he's right here with these children that he's not kin to. They're not his offspring at all, okay? Now, his child grows up with a limited relationship with him because he'll see him every other weekend or even less than that sometimes, okay? Sometimes it can be more than that, but it's still an inconsistent relationship, which can lead to resentment, confusion, and a loss of identity. His child could be on the outside, whether it's with an interracial woman or a black woman or not, looking at him saying, why are you raising somebody else's child? Why am I not there, Dad? Right? Why ain't you home? Why ain't you over here with my mama? Right? All this could be going on. Now, when the child grows up, the father who invested financially does not always receive care, respect, or loyalty in return. So while this father may send out money to that other household, which is in the form of cooperation, okay, or child support, that child is financially taken care of typically, but the relationship, there's a strain on that. So that child typically gets a sponsor. They get money for them, but they don't actually get a real relationship with their father like they like. And the father don't actually get a relationship with his real child while he has to pay for it financially. The government's okay with this bullshit. And they want you to be okay with this as a man, to lose your child, even though you're paying for it, right? Now, here's the stepfather's dilemma. Now, he's a stepfather to this child, right? Now, the real father of the white lady's kids is outside the home, okay? So here's what he gets from this person's children. Now, his children outside of his home, the black man's child is outside of his home, resenting him, whatever the case may be, right? Now, he's here. Here's what he gets from these children who he is with, okay? Here's the stepfather's dilemma. He invests time, energy, and resources into these children that are not biologically his, okay? He plays a role of a father, but legally and emotionally, he does not have the same rights as the biological father. How do we know this? If typically in this relationship, these children won't even want him there because he's not their father. They may time and time again tell him, "You're not my daddy." They may even lie on him, say he did things he didn't do just to turn the relationship sour. Okay. They may go and tell their dad other things about this guy they don't like. Now, this happens inside of blended families, right? We get that, right? Because they actually will long to be with their father, watching him take care of somebody else. So while they have someone here, they are still looking for their father, right? Now, we're saying this is a beautiful scene here, right? And you guys say to us, well, Kevin, your kids have to see you commit to 2 women. Well, these children have to see this woman be with a man that's not their dad. And if this don't work out, they have to lose him. If they build a strong relationship with him, now he's no longer in the picture if this relationship don't work out. And you know, if it don't work out, they're not going to care about the kids. They're going to break up because all they care about is themselves. And now he ain't going to be around anymore. And they're going to spend 6, 7, 8 years with this guy only to be stripped away from him. And then another guy going to come along and replace him. And he's going to invest all his time and energy into these kids. And they're not going to end up being his either. Okay? So statistically, stepchildren do not care for their step-parents the same way as the biological ones in their older age. I don't know if you guys have ever seen an NBA player, a football player say, "I want to buy my stepmama a house. I want to buy my stepdaddy a car." It may happen some, but it doesn't happen often. It's rare. So it is beautiful for the stepfather to raise these children. But if he's not with her until the duration of those kids growing up, he don't get those as children, because if he breaks up with her, he loses them. And when they move out, they typically go be with their daddy and form a relationship with their daddy and don't really deal with him like that no more. While they still may appreciate him, let's just be real. This is still the broken home, because those children they're not growing up looking at their daddy every day. And it looks like this one right here, the middle child right here, the one that she's holding, might be mixed. So now this is right here is a whole different thing as well. While this child may look different from this one and looks different from his mother and father, that's a whole different thing. Then you got the child outside the relationship having to accept this as his brother, where they don't have to even get to see their brother every day. They don't get to see their brother every day. This father knows that his son has a brother that he ain't even kin to. Now, meanwhile, the father on the outside, who's paying probably child support for these children, that money is going outside of his home as well. So everybody got money going outside the home. And y'all saying that this right here is monogamy. Here's the child's confusion. The child lives in a house where they may feel obligation to the love of the stepfather or stepmother, but they will long for their biological father or mother. So they'll feel an obligation to their stepfather or stepmother because they're there, but they will long for their actual real father or mother. And if you've ever been a child, you know this is true. They may struggle with identity, loyalty conflicts, and an emotional gap that no amount of financial support can fill. Let's be real. And this goes on in our life all the time. In fact, most families are blended families because most of us fail to hold a relationship together. And what this creates is a cycle of brokenness. Okay? So why blended families keep the cycle going? Why do blended families keep the cycle going, family? Blended families do not solve the issue of broken relationships. They just rearrange the pieces. They just put a Band-Aid on it. Do you understand? A blended family is a structure that allows for a permissive culture where people who have children outside of stable marriages and continue building relationships on top of past failures can still get married. That's what blended families provide. Oh, you were sleeping around in your teen years and had a bunch of kids? You was sleeping around, playing around with your life and had a bunch of kids. Oh, okay, you can still get married. Blended family. Father gonna try to be there for all them kids. Mother gonna try to be there and interact with all them kids he had. That's what a blended family is, guys. It's not two people deciding to create a family, so the foundation is already broken. Now, can it be beautiful? Yeah, we get it. It happens. But we're living in a world where y'all are condemning something that's actually holy and righteous, but praising something that is broken. And it's because it's ye who lack understanding. And it's not, I'm not doing this so I can not be criticized. I'm doing it so we can stop fucking up our world and our culture and our families, thinking that the white man is doing it. Now he's the catalyst. They enslaved us, they taught us this way of thinking, but we have to unlearn this crap on our own. They're not gonna come and teach us the right way, guys. We gotta wake up, we gotta stand up. The power of polygamy was keeping families intact. Polygamy, when done correctly, does not remove fathers from the home, it keeps them there. It ensures that all children are raised under the same roof where the father is present and can protect them in the same place, guys. It builds legacy where children know their inheritance, their lineage, and their responsibilities. So children are not growing up wondering who they are because they don't have either their mother or their father or either there. If I had grew up in a house where I had my mother and my father, the parts of my life trying to find myself, that would have never happened. This is years off my life where I could have been on my purpose early. The purpose that my parents would have put me on had they had been doing this thing right. You understand? So the emotional and psychological impacts on children are clear, guys, when it comes to a blended family. And here are the psychological effects of a blended family if you guys don't know. Studies show that children in blended families are more likely to experience depression, anxiety, and identity crisis. They often feel like they belong to two worlds, but are fully part of neither. Now, you've been a child and potentially in a blended family. If you felt this way, this is going to reside in your spirit. You know, I'm not lying. In emotional stability of polygamous families, when children grow up in a consistent family structure where both biological parents are present, they feel secure in their identity. They see the household where commitment and responsibility are practiced, not abandoned. So they see the responsibility is actually practiced and not abandoned and not replaced. So the moral and spiritual responsibility to secure our children, we're completely forsaking that. We live for ourselves. Most of our children did not get here by us planning it. Let's be real. Most children got here by, we was just doing, we was fulfilling ourselves, man. One night, drunk after a party, met her on Tinder, met your mama at the club. I saw your mama coming out of Walmart, carrying some melons, and I ain't talking about what she had in that damn bag, okay? That, like, I swear to God, most people, most human beings in this world were not created by design, by purpose, by planning. And that alone is the problem. That's the main problem right there. Because if we had came in this world through our parents planning us, there would have been more structure. There would have had to have been, y'all. When Jamie and I first got pregnant, when she first told me she was pregnant with Janae, I had no clue. I had to get ready. But with Justice and Izzy, I was prepared. They were planned for. Even though we didn't sit down and say, let's make another baby. We already knew we were married and we had a union, and whatever came through us, we was already preparing for whatever would come through us. Because we had the union already. But most of us guys, we don't even have a relationship with the person we're making children with. Let's be real. And so we're having to figure this thing out and navigate the best possible way to take care of our ancestors before they get here. And most of us just abandon them. Most of us forsake them in one way or the other, either totally abort them. And if we have them, we give them up. A lot of times we don't be there like we should, leaving them with our parents, our brothers and sisters and friends and grandparents. Rarely do we really stand up and be there for those kids. And we blame it on what we was doing at the time. Well, I wasn't ready. Well, I didn't have the means. Yo, That child was a blessing from God to be your means. It was a blessing. But we ran from it because we see it as only what the world's government wants us to see it as, a responsibility, not an addition to you. You just multiplied. It's time for you to raise that person up until you can put them to work, until you can put them on your plan. And now you got 4 hands instead of 2. I failed to do this with my sons for most of my life. I, in the past year, had to recorrect this because I realized if something happened to me, my kids don't know how to take care of themselves. And guys, when I was 16, 17, when I was 15, I took care of myself. I lived on my own at 15 years old. So I know my children are at this age, as far as what they can do for themselves, descendants. Now, as far as what they know, they're ascendants because they know far more than I knew at that age because I haven't failed to teach them. But because I didn't understand what the purpose of a family was, I didn't teach them. And so when I understood, I began to teach them. But our children are our ancestors, y'all. We often think of ancestors as those who came before us. But what about those who have not arrived yet? Our responsibility is to secure our lineage by ensuring our children have both parents in their lives. Now, a blended family is a band-aid. It was not our culture. Now, in polygamy, there was so much room for single mothers, so much room, because we made place for women who were widowed. But back in the day, divorce still was no word. We weren't having kids and not taking care of them, men. Every child you had, you didn't just take care of the child, you took care of the child and the woman. How many times have you guys said, well, child support ain't for the mother? Well, it ain't in this modern culture. But in reality, family, if a woman gave you a child, that was your heritage. Men, if a man gave you a child, that was your heritage. That child is going to grow up to be a mighty hunter or a mighty gatherer, a mother or a father. They're going to create more people to go in your tribe. The person that gave you that should be taken care of, supported by you. And that was the creed. If you give me a child, I'll make sure I protect you and the child. And the woman would say, if you give me a child, I'll make sure I support you and nurture you and our child to be as strong as you. We've forgotten that. Which introduces the blended family. It provides a temporary solution, but it don't get us 100 years into the future, guys. It's a band-aid on the current generation, but it does not get us into the future. Only both biological parents in the home are getting them in the future. And that's only if they dedicate their time and energy to raising their children to be a contributor to their tribe. If even in a home where you got both parents, guys, if they don't raise their children up to contribute to the tribe, even they have a broken home. Because imagine you having children, and imagine animals in the wild having children, having cubs, and those children don't help them hunt. What's the point? Yes, men have responsibility for his tribe. Absolutely right, brother Enoch. We got to stand up, brother. And they call that selfishness if a man take care of the women who gave him kids. How's that selfish? Ladies, if you have multiple children, you should be being taken care of and protected by multiple men, because it's important that their child is protected and their heritage that you gave them is protected. This is a fact. But men, if you have children by many men and none of those men are there to protect you, or one man is still there trying to protect you, and that one man would probably have a problem with those other men protecting you on behalf of their child. This is how broken blended families are. Most mothers in a blended family, most wives in a blended family don't want that baby mama around. Most fathers in a blended family don't want the baby father around. So really, y'all really are enemies of progress. Y'all just together because y'all like each other, and the kids got to suffer that. And we calling that holy and perfect. But when you look at that and say, can a blended family get you 1,000 years into the future, further creating heritage biologically? Hell nah, it's only a band-aid. But in polygamy, it can. Here's how. Say you got me, Jamie, and our children, Lacey and our children. Say some other woman in the future, I decide to take on another wife. Say she has a child. Here's how it benefits me as a man. I get the wife to come along and nurture me and give me more children. I get her children to come and be extra hands to my hunt. So that her children do benefit my tribe because they're helping me secure a lifestyle, which benefits them, us, and their mother. But if I just bring them in and I take care of those children and they do nothing to benefit my home, what do I get? And men, that's what you do all the time. You guys have children with someone else, and then you go sell out and raise someone else's children and get nothing out of it when you already have your children and you ain't raising them. And you wonder why life turns in on itself, because you're forsaking your birthright. That's why. And a lot of times it's because we was immature, going around sleeping with whoever and form those relationships and children with women that we didn't want to be with. And now our children got to pay the price. We're so childish. And I'm not saying that to insult us, but we truly never grew up. So again, a Band-Aid is not a solution. I mean, a blended family is not a solution. They attempt to make the best of a bad situation, but true stability comes in never breaking the home in the first place. And you guys got to understand this. Polygamy is a solution for family stability. It's not about having multiple women for selfish reasons. It's about keeping a family together and nurturing the children. If a man is responsible enough to take care of multiple wives and children, he ensures that no child is ever left without a father. You guys got more smoke for me than men out here with multiple children, not in their home. Y'all got more smoke for me when all of my children are with me. None of my children are going fatherless, and y'all got more smoke for me. This proves y'all have no idea of what y'all's culture was. So you're supposed to train up a child in the way that they should go. And what are they seeing from us, family? Blended families and broken relationships. Well, broken relationships first and blended families. And some of them have never seen us in a relationship. When they came in this world, we was already single. We couldn't even hold a relationship until they got here. We couldn't even have one when we made them half the time. Let's be real. So blended families may work, but it's not a cure. Polygamy, when done correctly, it ensures that no child grows up feeling abandoned or forgotten or divided between two worlds. If you guys got questions, make sure you put them in here. I'm about to be ending it soon. I'm not up here to rant all day about this. But the choice is not about what is convenient for us today, or not about what makes us comfortable today. It's about what secures our children and our lineage and our inheritance for generations to come. Now, I want to have a discussion with you guys. If we were today say, let's begin to tribe up, let's create a better world. You guys know the best way to do that would be polygamy, right? Because y'all know most men ain't even caring about families. Y'all know most men don't have the funds to take care of a family or the wisdom to raise children. So what if a lot of you ladies got with one guy who was wise enough, who was wealthy enough to make sure all of y'all was going to be straight and all y'all can work with him to get y'all into the future? What if many of you ladies who already have children by the same guy got with him right now? Y'all already got a head start. Y'all already got children with the man, and start working together, putting all y'all funds inside the same home, starting businesses for yourself so you don't need to leave the house for work, and becoming your own entity unto yourself, not needing the government anymore. Your children will have their brothers and sisters all in the same home. They'd all have their father in the same home, and they'd all have a plan and direction for life. I've been asked about that. I'm going to try to work out an interview with Neo. I haven't tried yet, to be honest with you, but I am going to actually reach out to him. Okay. Polygyny is definitely a solution for this disease of single motherhood. It is, brother. It is. And what you guys got to understand is that's all that it was. People always try to excuse polygamy by saying, well, everybody didn't practice it. Picture this, family, in a world where tribes exist. Where in the world would monogamy even be? Where would it be? Two people said, we ain't going to do the tribe thing. We're just going to go off together and get a house with a picket fence. And me and you just going to hunt and feed our kids. And then when they grow up, they're going to move out and we just going to die old together. Yeah, that makes sense. In a world where everybody else is tribed up and got multiple people on their land, building big ass gardens, big ass houses, hunting and coming back with all types of kill, coming back with all types of fish. You and your monogamous family over here, well, we caught 2 fish today. Ain't really enough to go around. They over there with so many people around the damn pond and lake fishing. It don't make no sense. Y'all over here, just two of y'all. Monogamy wouldn't even make no damn sense in the natural world, y'all. It wouldn't make any sense. You guys are making it up for you from your own you know, prejudices. I'm gonna drop the link in case anybody want to come up, ask a question, and give a thought. If you got something against polygamy or blended families, something to say, hey, I'm here, family. I'm here. I think it'll get a lot of views, and I think that he'll be even more comfortable after knowing that he's not alone. Indeed, I'm definitely going to try. Now, Neo does know who I am, but I haven't reached out and asked him. I'll try to. Let me talk about this real quick. I'm gonna call this part of the live the Zood matrix. Okay, the matrix that we live in right now, the current world system that we have around us is a Zood matrix. Okay, here's the difference between nature and the modern system, which is a Zood matrix. All right, in nature, everything is about survival and preparation. In today's world, we've been trained to serve the system, not our families. We go to work, neglecting our families. We're away from our home because we believe in their dollar. We believe that that dollar is the end all be all, that's how you access food. That's how you access shelter. That's how you access land. That's how you access survival. When really the access to those things are your body or your skill sets, the skill sets that you sharpen by actually doing those things. You got to fish to get better at fishing. You got to hunt to get better at hunting. Instead, we're getting better at jobs, working for someone else, which furthers their dreams and their families. They're paying us change while we're making them millions. And we think that's what a modern family life is about. Grow up, get a job, get a house, pay bills through that job, get a career through that job, and make sure they're taken care of. When that's a broken thing. We didn't teach ourselves that, family. They're trying to teach us the American way, but that's not how we did it in our natural self. And if we love the American way, we love the colonizer's way. Let's be frank. In today's world, we have been trained to serve the system, to be on the hamster's wheel, not to serve ourselves and our families. So we are no longer hunters. We are domesticated beings like animals in the zoo. We go to work for a living. We're no longer hunters and gatherers. Now, anybody will tell you human beings were hunters and gatherers. Wolves were hunters. Now wolves are domesticated dogs. And now humans are not hunters and gatherers. They are workers, okay? They are politicians. They are cops. They are all these different things to survive in a fake world. So how does this matrix disconnect us from our need to survive? The modern system raises our children to be consumers and not providers. They raise them to spend, not to hunt. You understand? We teach them, we give them allowances instead of teaching them how to earn for themselves. We feed them from our refrigerators instead of teaching them how to cook, grow food, and provide for their household. And all this cripples them. Now, all this makes us think we're being good parents, but actually, we're not being good parents. And so for most of my life, I've been a terrible parent because I've made life so easy for my children that they haven't had to strengthen those muscles. Do you understand? Trying to be better than my parent, I was a bad parent, so to speak, because they didn't have to go get it for themselves at all. They never had to figure it out. And so without me, my children would be lost. Many of yours would be too. Let's be honest, y'all. Are we failing them by making sure they want for nothing? Are we failing them by making sure they don't use their muscles? Come on, y'all, let's be real. Just as the government makes it so convenient for us that it cripples us, we've made it so convenient for our children that we've crippled them. Their mindset ain't even set up for contribution. If you told them, look, I'm gonna need you to start giving me a little bit out of your check every month, I'm gonna pay some bills with it, get some of this stuff paid off, they would feel like you're doing them wrong. This should have been the whole, when you had your child, they should have been anxious so they could start helping. I can't wait till I'm able to work and contribute, mom and dad. Do you not understand your life wouldn't be so hard if your children aided in your survival? that you've been broke. You as the parent are being broken down for a family that you don't even get in the end. All because we're not doing it the right way. We got to break free from it. We got to refrain from we got to retrain our children to think of family as inheritance, not just a stepping stone. Instead of sending them out alone, we should be building a generational wealth and skills with them that we pass into them. If we fail to do this, we create broken homes, even with two-parent households. When a relationship fails, y'all, the children are often raised in separate homes, breaking the natural order. And that's a fact. So the father is outside the home sending money instead of raising the child. But in the end, he don't get the child. The biological father loses the relationship with the child he's investing in because it's not really his child in the first place. And so does the stepmother. I meant to say the stepfather. The stepfather or stepmother invests in a child who statistically will not care for them in the future. The child grows up conflicted and disconnected and without true family inheritance, not with his stepfather and not with his real father. So we got to transition from the baby bird syndrome to one that breeds survival. Children got to be trained to contribute to their household. Every skill the parents have should be passed down to your children. Whatever you do for a living, guys, okay? Whatever it is, if you got your own business, teach your children how to do that skill. This is how it starts. Now you got more than one of you. Instead of allowances, children should be learning business, trade, and leadership from their parents. Now, back in the day, to become a parent, you had to be a hunter, you had to be a gatherer, you had to know how to take care of yourself. And so our rites of passage, if we were to develop a new culture, is you would have had to develop your own business, your own way of making money, somehow using your skill and monetizing it before you could start your own family. And you would have had to be able to use this skill good enough to survive on your own, to make enough for you to survive. So maybe that's $15,000 to $20,000, $30,000 a year. So develop a skill. Men would develop a skill that can at least get them 20, 30, 40,000 a year and take care of themselves. Now, if they sing, create music, sell the music out of your trunk, whatever you need to do. If you do comedy, get your skills out there. If you a clown, go juggle, paint your face. Whatever it is that you do, you're supposed to be able to learn how to monetize that skill so the general public can have a need for your skill. And then you're supposed to find a female, a wife who can do the same thing. And then you guys come together and teach that to your children, learning their skills and employing them however they see fit, or giving them your skill and having them continue it and resharpen it. I'm telling you guys, back then they did this so much so that their last name was what they did. We've lost that. So this would build generational wealth and stability. Instead of breaking the family and patching it with step parents, we should be keeping fathers in the home. If you create a family with somebody, damn it, you stay with them. You make it work. Because it's important that you raise your child up with both of you guys intact and with the right leadership. Otherwise, don't make families with people you know you're not going to be with. And we got to start there. We're not thinking, we just live with our loins. Instead of breaking the family and patching it with step families, we should be keeping fathers in the home. Instead of sending children out to struggle alone, we should be bringing them into our family businesses. This is how true survival and inheritance will be secured. I said before, early we send our kids out to survive on their own instead of using our children to help pay off all the stuff that we have, which is something that they're going to get passed down to them. Your house is their first house. Get their credit right. You can't get your credit right. Get their credit right. Get that house, and all of y'all pay it off together. Fuck what the system say do. Learn how to use your siblings. Learn how to use your family, your heritage as resources. That's a tribe, y'all. You keep trying to be an island unto yourself. That's why we keep dying. That's why we're dying out here. We're not just responsible for ourselves, y'all. We're responsible for the generations before us and after us. If we allow broken homes to continue by frivolously starting relationships and ending them quickly, even though we have children, we ain't gonna do nothing but rob our children of their inheritance and ourselves. And we're gonna force ourselves and them to survive and die alone. And it's just gonna be a perpetual cycle. And that's what we're into right now. So true purpose of family is not just love, it's not just happiness, it's survival, it's legacy, and it's continuity. If we continue down this path, we're gonna create a generational instability. The modern system, it has fooled us into believing that family is just about raising children until they are grown and sending them out into the world alone. But nature teaches us it's something far different. Family is about strength, survival, and inheritance. It is about ensuring that your children are prepared, not just raised. Blended families are not the answer. They are the result to a system that allows families to break apart. Polygamy, when done correctly, because polygamy broken can lead to the same problems. You got to stay together. That's the key. You got to work together. That's the key. But when it's done correctly, family, it keeps families intact and it ensures that children grow up with both of their parents. We got to remove the modern mindset of the individual survival idea and return to our natural state that family is a survival unit, not a temporary responsibility. This is not just a conversation about relationships, which is better. It's not a conversation to get you guys to want to be poly, accept poly, contribute to poly. It's a conversation about our survival as a people, our duty to our ancestors, and our responsibility to our generations that have yet to come. And that's it. That's all. Alonzo says, salute, brother. Salute to you too. Says the issue is that the one opportunity men had to be successful protectors and providers was during colonization. They failed. No one's willing to do the same thing, expecting a different result. She said it's not the household, it's rather the adult or the adults are emotionally and spiritually fulfilled. Self-sufficiency, self-preservation, and self-governing is essential. Indeed, to all that you said, we have failed. We have failed. We failed each other. And we can see this represented in our children. Alonzo said most men can't deal with poly. Not even their women can have another man. Not even if their women have, not even if the women can have another man, but in terms of dealing with multiple women responsibly like you do. And what this shows, Alonzo, is that we fail to develop. You understand? So while in our culture, we praise men who's had many women, we should be praising men who can maintain a relationship with a woman. This is what, because that's what legacy and livelihood is about, is maintaining relationships. Instead, we're praising negative attributes, guys. And that's what's breaking our community down. See, most men couldn't maintain women, but it's because we haven't been trying to. We haven't even maintained a relationship with one woman long enough. You understand? We break up too quick. We end them too quick. We reject the women too quickly. You know, a lot of times we know we're meeting women that's raised up in the modern world, so her thinking is not going to be perfectly in line with families, and neither will his be. But a lot of times the first sign of that, men are so afraid to lose a home once they already created it, that we reject the woman early because we see certain signs. And it, of course, traumatizes the woman whenever she gets rejected by a man. Ain't nothing hurt a woman worse than being rejected by her man, being told she's not wanted anymore. But all of this, we created trauma for each other. But we have to focus on the children and our future and set all that bullshit aside and start a plan and be faithful to putting forth that plan. Alonzo says, bro, I so appreciate your output. I'm in the life insurance industry, so legacy is something I talk about all the time. Indeed, brother, indeed. He said, I tell folks all the time, think in terms of decades, not days. Indeed, man. We got to look into the future. The way we're doing, we're not even looking into tomorrow right now. We're literally thinking about the moment. Is do she got a fat ass or do he got some money? You see what I'm saying? And all of a sudden you're pregnant by him. And here's a whole legacy right here, a whole child, an ancestor that's sitting here waiting to have the correct things done. And it's not happening. And then we all sit here and look at the world wondering why it is the way it is. I'm going to continue these teachings, as I believe if we can learn from this, the people who do learn from it can choose to, spread the word, can choose to change their life. Because I always say, be the change that you want to see. The thing that we see in this world all the time, we think it's the norm. We think it's fine because we see it all the time. And then when we see something that's not so common, it disrupts our core. And we want to say something is wrong with it. But guys, if something is so wrong with our world and we all know it, you must understand that correcting it may look like something that you've never saw before. And guys, if you think about it like this, when you eat something, right? Your tongue has taste buds, but then your body is also going to break that food down. So what you say is good may not be good for you. So you might eat something that's high in sugars, right? And it might taste really good to you. Doesn't mean it's good for your body. Something may look good to your eyes. It may taste good to your mouth, but it may be terrible for your body. Cake is one of the worst things you can eat. Potato chips, one of the worst things that you can eat. But they're some of the most eaten snacks out there. Now think about healthy stuff. It don't look so good. Those carrots laying there, that celery laying there don't look as good as that cake, that ice cream. It don't taste as good either. But your body says something different once you eat it. So guys, you may not like what I say. You may not like what I do. You may not like how I live my life. But I've taken the time to plan a diet for my life that would make my family's body better. So that you may not like what the food looks like on that person who's on a diet plate. That vegan's plate, you might not like what their plate looks like. But that person has taken the time to think about their body. Okay? And what would be best to go inside of it and how to best live their life. And that's why their plate looks like that. Now, the people's plate that you think looks good, they have not done that type of thinking. They're only thinking about how good that food's going to taste. That's it, guys. They're not thinking about how much that food's going to immediately break their body down, immediately create negative effects inside their body. I mean, as soon as they eat it. While the person without the pretty food has taken the time to think that. So what I do may not look pretty to y'all. What I say may not look pretty. But understand, I've taken the time to think about how things should be done so they can create a different picture than what we have been creating by doing what we've been doing. Okay? It feels good to run around random women. I ain't gonna lie. I love that as much as the next man. Being married is a responsible thing. But what fulfills me as a man in my loins most? Running around sleeping with many women. Guys, but that ain't what best creates our world. Sleeping with women with no connection. Using them for your desires. That's not the way to be. And the wise man has never done this. The ancient man never done this. He didn't have time for pursuing women without wanting a future with them, guys. Everything was about survival. We've perverted all of that. Until next time, family. Y'all be well. Hopefully you guys consider what this live discussed. Again, I'm not trying to encourage you guys to be polygamous. I'm encouraging you to be aware. Just be aware of what we are doing to break down our society. At least stay together. If you guys are saying y'all are monogamous, prove it. Stay with the person that you made the child with. Stay with that person that you just had sex with. Stop using them. And when that relationship don't work, get them with somebody else. And then get them with somebody else. And then get them with somebody else. Because what happens is you're creating children and trauma through all those getting with somebody else. And ultimately, you'll want to call yourself monogamous when your partner is having to deal with all these multitude of issues that you got from somebody else, whether it be children or your traumas. And you want to believe your monogamy and that you're doing it right, but you're not. Because now you're in a relationship still not healed. Or you were in a relationship with children that don't belong to that man. And there's no condemnation. We haven't learned this information at the beginning. So many of us by now have already got children or broken relationships. I have had many wives by the Bible's definition, because just sleeping with a woman makes you a husband. So I've been committing adultery on many wives. I failed many wives. But at some point, guys, we got to stand up and say, let me correct myself. Let me get on the right path. If I have relationships with a woman, if I have children with a woman, I'm going to protect and provide for that woman. She will be my wife. Other than that, I ain't sleeping with her. I'm not making children with her. And if every man said that, the world would be a better place, not a worse one. If every woman said, I'm not sleeping with this man unless he's going to be the father of my child and make sure he had to take care of it, it would be a better world, not a worse one. Thank you, Alonzo. Said that food analogy was good. Thank you. Said it was super on point. I appreciate that, King. Again, families, consider what I said. Make sure y'all back here for the next one. Tell somebody, man. Make sure y'all back here. I will start promoting the lives, not just going live random too. But again, until next time, it was good talking with y'all. And be encouraged, family. We're going to get this thing right. Each one teach one day at a time. Peace to you all.